Over the last 10 years, I've helped a lot of families with generational wealth. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the one surprising barrier that holds most families back from achieving their financial goals. It's not what you think. And the good news is something you can start working on right now, regardless of your current financial situation. Now, before we start discussing the 3 tips to break through this barrier, we have to understand the root of the problem. When most people start thinking about generational wealth, they focus on the wealth part of it. It's a lot more exciting, and what's the point of passing on wealth if there isn't anything to pass on? But the real heart of the matter lies in the word generational. It's not enough for one generation to build wealth and then pass it on. They have to develop a multi generational strategy. And what's the number one thing preventing most families from doing that? Communication. I know it's not very exciting, but from my experience, if there are 10 things that keep families from being successful in building generational wealth, 9 of those come down to communication. If one generation develops a plan and then fails to communicate that to the rest of the generations, or there was no buy in from the start, they're usually doomed to fail. I know what you're thinking. That's easier said than done. My family is complicated. Of course they are. They all are, which is why maintaining generational wealth is so difficult. Talking to your family about money isn't easy. So, where do we start? You can't control what your family thinks and does with their money. So, don't focus on trying to fix that. After all, they're your family and you're stuck with them. Instead, focus on something that you can control, which is getting your own head straight. It's going to take a lot of self reflection and to start to understand what your actual motives are. Why do you want to build generational wealth? What does money mean to you? What are your own shortcomings around money? You don't need a psychologist, but it is going to take some work. Where I would start that work is with this book, The Psychology of Money. I didn't write it, and I don't get any benefit from promoting it. But it's always where I start clients who want to understand their own relationship with wealth. It's easy to read with short chapters, and it's pure gold. If you want other resources about getting your own head straight, then there are other videos on my channel that will help. I'll leave some links in the description. But for now, let's move on to tip number 2. This is where your complicated family comes into the picture, and you actually have to start talking to them. Be upfront and clear about your motives. Don't try and casually drop the conversation somewhere. For most people, discussing money can be tough. Don't spring it on them. If you've done the work to get your own head straight, then a straightforward approach is usually the best. If you want to talk to your adult children, something along the lines of, Mom and I would like to develop a plan about passing down our wealth to you. But we recognize that you're a large part of that plan and we'd like to talk to you about it. Or if you're going to talk to your own parents, you might say something along the lines of, we suspect that you're probably going to pass down some wealth in the future, and we'd like to understand what your priorities are for that. Then set a time to talk in the future. Give them time to mentally prepare for it. Now, the conversation itself is how we get to tip number 3. Go slow. Don't try and figure everything out in the first conversation. Your early goal should not be to develop a plan, but instead to develop an environment in which you can talk about your family's finances. Easier said than done, but there are some tricks. Start with neutral ground and bring in some outside ideas. In fact, this video is a great place to start. If you're following tips 1 and 2, then your motives should be clear, and the source of those motives should also be clear. Sharing this video with family members helps them understand where you're coming from and puts everyone on even ground. In fact, the purpose of this channel is to provide tools for families to discuss wealth and develop realistic plans. If you'd like more tools and ideas, consider subscribing to the channel. Videos, passages from books, and news articles can all be shared with family members. These shared experiences will make it easier for you to discuss money in the future. Now, casually talking about a news article you both read can easily lead to a discussion about what your family might do in a similar situation. The goal should be an ongoing dialogue about the family's financial situation, which you can turn into a multi generational plan that everyone is involved in. It's not sexy and it's not easy. Generational wealth takes a lot of hard work and some uncomfortable conversations. But if you can get your own head straight, identify your own shortcomings, and be honest about your motives, then starting a family dialogue about wealth is your best chance at seeing long term success. If you have any questions, you can send those to me at my email, mike@canavanwealth.com. Good luck. Let's talk again soon.